It is Falcons Friday. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Falcons Daily. CG Craig Green, your host. Thank you guys again for tuning in and hope everybody has had a really good week so far. What's good, Falcons family? Let's chop it up here and talk a little Falcons football, shall we? All right, so check it out, y'all. We talked yesterday about we didn't know when training camp was going to take place. Mini camp is over and now part of the offseason resumed. So what were we waiting to find out was the training camp dates, and we found that out on Thursday. We found out what the training camp dates were going to be going forward. They gave us the entire list, and it's 11 open training camp practices. I'm sure though the team may have more than that, but at least for 11 of them, we all will have an opportunity to go down there to Flowery Branch and see what the Falcons got cooking up over there. So they announced all those dates. Basically, training camp is going to run from July 24th through August 13th. And then the Falcons, that's when they'll break camp, and then they'll just have their preseason games up. Remember, they have two preseason games in Atlanta, one of them in Dallas against the Cowboys, and second of which of those against the Tennessee Titans. And the Falcons will have joint practices with the Titans that we all can attend. You, me, your mama, and your cousin too on August 12th and 13th. We can go down there and watch them suit up against Tennessee, and maybe even give Tennessee a taste of what it would be like to be inside the Benz, taking on this young, hungry Falcon offense and defense. You know, a lot of us are really ramped up to see, the offense, of course, with Michael Penix, the defense with Jalen Walker, kind of salivating at what we may get, during week one. But again, those training camp dates for the Falcons announced. It starts July 24th. Then there's a July 26th date. Also, it's part of the NFL's Back Together weekend program. And as part of that, what's going to happen is you'll have Raheem Morris speaking to the crowd. Terry Fontenot will also be speaking there as well. Former players will be on hand. Falcon legends, alumni. It'll be basically a big deal that weekend, and you'll see that at training camps across the league. So if you go that weekend on the 24th, 25th, 26th, again on the 26th is when you'll see all that stuff going down. But again, all the practices start in the morning, so if you're gonna go, you're gonna want to get there early. I've been there a couple times, and you do have to kind of park away from the facility, take a couple shuttles over, and then you can walk right up there, find your place to sit, on the grass or in the bleachers. When I was there, they had like big tents in the back. You could sit on the bleachers back there, or you could sit in the grass or whatnot and just chill. And, they had plenty of concessions out there. Everything was really cheap. When I went the last time, I don't know what it's like now, but when I went, they had like dollar hot dogs, dollar hamburgers, things like that, really fan-friendly prices, even at the training camp. All kinds of interactive things to do. You can get autographs and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a really good time when the last time I was there. It's been several years, but I have been before in the past too. So again, y'all need to check it out if you can go. But anyway, the joint practices are I think those are a much needed break from having to square off and line up against each other. Because now remember, when training camp comes, y'all, the pads go on. Now it's going to resemble more of a football practice, I guess, because there will be padded practices, there will be walkthroughs or jog throughs, as Raheem alluded to earlier in the week. But again, you'll still get a chance, when you go to practice, you should get a chance to see some of the Falcons maybe wearing some of those shoulder pads and hitting the tackling dummies and just get a taste of what you may be able to see during the season. So exciting times coming up. You can really taste it, smell it, you can feel it. Football is really on its way back. When you look at the Falcons and their off season, what is what comes to your mind? What do you think? about the players that they've added, the players that they've lost, the players that they retained. Are the additions greater than the losses that the Falcons have had on to and from the team? When you look at the players, let's look at the players that they've lost first of all. Okay, the most glaring of which, of course, is Grady Jarrett. Again, I mean, he is in my opinion, Grady Jarrett is about as close to a modern day Mr. Falcon as you can get, him or Matt Ryan. But again, Grady is Atlanta, and drafted by his hometown team. And again, what he means to me, what he means to me as a fan is, it's kind of immeasurable. But again, look at the other departures as well. Rondell Moore went to the Vikings. Philip Dorsett was let go. Ross Dwelly went to the 49ers. Drew Dahlman to the Bears. Lorenzo Carter went to the Titans. Also, Richie Grant went to the 49ers as well. Eddie Goldman now signed with the Washington Commanders. We also have lost Matthew Judon, James Smith-Williams, Damon Harris, Antonio Hamilton, Justin Simmons and Riley Patterson. So we look at those guys, and again, to me, the most impactful so far would probably be Drew Dahlman and Grady Jarrett. I mean, that's your interior offensive line and defensive line. Richie Grant provided some much needed depth at the safety position. Justin Simmons was your starting free safety in 2024, so you lost that as well. Ross Dwelly, a capable tight end who provided some depth. I mean, but you lost two starters. Rondell Moore, did not play for the Falcons. Unfortunately, got hurt in training camp and did not suit up at all during 2024. But again, you look at that, but then when you look at the additions, I think the additions completely outweigh the losses right now. Again, because you lost two starters, but you've gained multiple, and the starters. I mean, the additions and the retentions, I guess you could say, the re-signees such as Mike Hughes, like keeping him in the building for 3 more years, is a much needed addition for the Falcons, or much needed player that's going to stay around. Again, he's been cross training, on the outside, not just playing in the slot. So Mike Hughes is trying to be one of those versatile players that Jeff Ulbrich wants to use this year. Jake Matthews getting a 2-year extension. That's huge. Now we brought in Leonard Floyd. We need pass rush, you know what I'm saying? And Kentavious Street staying around. Also, again, another player who provides some depth and did some good things for the Falcons, as well as playing some special teams. Kadero Hodge, Jamal Agnew. I mean, again, it hurt to lose Grady. But again, when you look at some of the players we've added and the players that we've got on the outside now, I think the additions, I'm not going to say that losing Grady doesn't matter whatsoever, but I think the Falcons have really tried to recover nicely in free agency and in the draft. Again, I didn't even say Jalen Walker. I didn't even say James Pierce, you know what I mean? But or I didn't even say the name of Xavier Watts either. But now I have. But my point is that I think the Falcons have done a pretty good job trying to patch up some of the losses of Drew Dahlman and Grady Jarrett. Pro Football Focus has chimed in on the Falcons' win total for 2025. And now this is the part where we talk about wins and losses one more time. And Pro Football Focus says, you should take the over on the Falcons. They're projected right now in Las Vegas to get 7.5 wins out of 17 games. So of course 7.5 would be right at 8. If they win 8, you're a winner. If they win 7, you lose. There's no half a game. But actually, technically there is. If they have 7 wins and a tie, you get a push. So there you go. But I think the Falcons absolutely are going to win more than 7.5 games. I mean, earlier on, about a month or two ago, we talked about the Falcons' win total, and I had them at 11 and 6 myself. I think they're going to win the NFC South and beat the Bucs out by a game to win the division. That's my prediction for 2025. I'll give we can go game by game and score by score after training camp. We'll go over it again, but my initial feelings on it, just looking at the schedule, looking at who we had on the team, and who we thought would start for them at that point in time. I think it's 11 wins, but Pro Football Focus is buying in on the Falcons to get over 7.5. They also do believe in Tampa Bay and that they're going to get at least their 9.5 wins as well. So, that does put they didn't say, hey, the Falcons are going to get 8 wins exactly. So 9.5 for the Bucks could right be at 10, and over 7.5 for the Falcons could be 11, or it could be 10 again. So we'll see. But again, they believe in the Falcons and what they're doing, and so do I. And I know a lot of you do too. Proof's going to be in the pudding. But again, when you look at the Falcons' schedule, some of the opponents they have at home, what they did against the Bucks last year, they swept the Bucks even with Kirk Cousins, and now you've got Mike Penix in there again with the exact same weapons, the same offensive line, sans Dahlman, and adding in Ryan Newsel. I think the Falcons are going to be in a really good spot to contend for the NFC South, hopefully get over the hump and end this 4-year Buccaneers championship run. Last thing on my mind, y'all, is when we're looking at the Falcons and we talk about the team coming together and building the team, specifically on defense, because again, the offense is largely the same. The Falcons defense gave up 25 points a game last year, and that's what got Jimmy Lake fired. But, they brought Jeff Ulbrich back to be the defensive coordinator full-time as the guy, not a interim like he was when Dan Quinn got fired, but as the guy now. This is his defense. He did a really good job with the Jets, and now he finds himself back in Atlanta trying to rebuild the Falcons defense, generate some pass rush, because Lord knows we have not had one semblance of a pass rush since 2016. And yes, I know Vic Beasley's a sore spot for some of us to talk about how he was here today and gone tomorrow, but the man did win the Mackey Award. He did lead the league in sacks when he was on our team. I mean, he did give us some hope that, hey, there may not be so much of a drop-off from John Abraham, but who knew? The Falcons since 2017, the worst in the NFL at sacking the quarterback. So, I hope to see that Jeff Ulbrich has the depth and the players he needs to build the defense. When you look at the depth chart or the projected starters for the Falcons on defense, it does feel a little deeper than it was last year. The Falcons do have some players that they're going to try to rotate maybe up front on the edge. Again, you could pencil in Leonard Floyd. You might be able to put Ebiketie on one side as well. But it's gonna be interesting to see who is going to be the guys that put up front. Will Jalen Walker start up front for the Falcons? Who knows? But again, they're starting to develop that depth. Again, Laquel London is back also for the Falcons. So, and then I thought at linebacker was the one spot where they definitely needed a little shot in the arm. I still feel that way right now. I still think that they still need maybe a linebacker or two. But all the rumors about Jalen Ramsey possibly coming to Atlanta to reunite with Raheem Morris via trade, we'll see if all that happens. But what you have in house, you gotta use that and just work with that. But when I look at that defensive line, it's pretty deep down there. Again, they've got Morgan Fox, who's been with the Falcons, hasn't had a whole lot of meaningful action. But TQ Graham has, Zach Harrison has, Laquel London has. Onyemata obviously starts. Kentavious Street is a guy you can move around a little bit. Rook is coming back, of course. Brandon Dorless hopefully will play some more. But and so I think the Falcons have some pieces there. Again, linebacker, to me, I think that's the one spot where you could probably use a little bit more depth. I mean, you do have Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis, and J.D. Bertrand, who played last season. But at inside linebacker, I think you could use one more player. So that's the one spot I think the Falcons could use. Another guy right there is also to help stop the run, because I feel like the Falcons could be susceptible to runs up the middle, especially if those guys can get worn down up front. Outside on the corner, in terms of cornerbacks and safeties, I think the Falcons have recovered nicely and given Jeff Ulbrich some guys. You know, you do have Mike Hughes again, who's being able to move around some. Clark Phillips can play inside or outside. D. Alford, same thing. You know, A.J. Terrell holds down his one spot, and that's perfectly fine because, again, not a lot of teams are testing him in the first place. So I think Jeff Ulbrich, and also, again, with Leonard Floyd there, and again with Jalen Walker, you know, we'll see. But we do have enough of the pieces for Jeff Ulbrich to hopefully string together at least an upper half defense, you know, at least a top 10 defense. I mean, we have those guys, but the pass rush has to get better. We've got to get more than just 31 sacks in 17 ball games because, again, if we're doing that, we're going to not like where we're going to be in December, and we probably won't be playing in January. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and call it a day. Please give my buddies a Fan Arch Co. a follow up here in the corner. Also, they're at Fan Arch Co. CO on social media. You can give me a follow too if you like. Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G and the word sports. That's where you can find me. And also, please give Falcons Daily a subscribe right there and keep your notifications on. That way you don't miss out on any of our new content. You'll be the first to know as soon as we drop a new video. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with a little more Falcons Daily to break it down for y'all. And hopefully, you know, maybe we'll take a look at some of you guys' comments and come up with some stuff for Saturday's show. How about that? So leave me some comments here and maybe some questions you may want answered, and I'll go through them and maybe we'll answer a few of those on Saturday. All right, y'all. You guys be kind, be great. Sayonara and buenos noches.